do not have my contacts in. So.
I like this. I like the microphone more. That doesn't. Good morning.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That yellow
I'm your commentator, Ken Fortin, along with a special guest appearance from Barney Tanfield of New York's Racket and Tennis Club. We're coming to you from the Tennis and Racket Club in Boston, Massachusetts. It's a beautiful day outside, a perfect day for indoor sports. And Barney, what do you think about this match?
It's definitely going to be an exciting one. Tim already took his pants off. If you can see that in the and look, the warm up is coming off too.
It looks like his shoes are off. What's next?
Well, hopefully not too much more, but
of course the Brits don't want to see Tim take his pants off.
Well, it's going to be nighttime maybe in some parts of the world. So
he is rocking the black socks, though. That definitely that says lawn tennis to me, but we'll see. He's a man of many talents, I understand. At the Tuxedo Club, he gives lessons in every racket sport. So.
I think speaking with Josh, he hits a good golf ball. Everything he does well. So it's good to beat Tim.
Yep. Now I know you did a little bit of research on Tim's physical status. I know he had his knees done. What do you know about that, Barney?
So in speaking with Tim earlier, Tim's confirmed that the first knee that he'd redone is 2 years ago now, and the second one is 18 months back. Feels like yesterday, but then I guess we lost a year. I think, for many years you were not seeing the Tim Chisholm
welcome to the second match.
who was running around and giving
Philadelphia
great games
versus
to the
Tuxedo.
top players in the
Tuxedo
world.
leads 1 match to love.
Even in that time period,
Eight
I
games.
think he probably won a
Played
few
with
doubles
one
world
deuce, then
championships
40
at
all
the very
until the
least, and
7 all
probably a
game.
handful of opens. So
That's right.
you wouldn't call him a slouch, even if he can't move. But here he is, bionic, ready to fire up. Everyone duck.
Tim Chisholm to receive.
That's right. Everyone duck is right.
Now, hopefully John can keep his serve a little tighter than yesterday because
First set.
Josh won't be too thrilled to be. He's already pointing him down. There you go.
Josh is moving his fanny over there. Now, of course, three of the players in this event this long weekend have worked for Tim. Tony Hollins worked for Tim. Josh worked for Tim. Leon works for Tim right now.
Seems to produce a lot of good talent, definitely.
But nobody wants to stay with him. Tuxedo is.
Oh boy!
It's a place, I think, for a pro who wants to work a lot. There's no shortage of work there, especially in the summer. I understand the lawn tennis lessons are just almost continuous the whole 7 days.
That, and I think with the building of the squash courts a few years ago, I think what you're going to find is that program's going to continue to evolve, continue to produce some really strong juniors, and it's not a bad place to send your kids to learn how to play. You've got a few very respected people in the community there who. How would you feel about having Tim Chisholm teach your children how to play sports? I'd say that's a pretty good start for most.
No kidding.
And Leon being no slouch at all either. By the way, I think this probably, now I'm just guessing, would probably be their first partnership. They probably haven't played a ton of doubles together previous to that.
I think you're right.
So this would be a learning experience.
Plus,
I think when you see Tim and Cam play together, obviously there's a lot of how would you call it? Buffoonery? No.
camaraderie.
Camaraderie? Yeah.
Tomfoolery. There's a lot of smiling going
There's a lot of smiling. There's
40, 30
a little bit of chastising, perhaps, amongst the two of them. You know, they've got a very good relationship.
I noticed even after a lost point at a key moment, though, they will laugh about it. I mean, one thing I notice about watching, doubles, especially at the highest level, I've probably watched the 2019 World Doubles at Hobart about 5 times because it's such an excellent production, and the commentary is pretty funny, and of course the tennis is amazing. But you could see that the nerves on Nick's face playing with Rob Fahey. I mean, it has to be difficult. I mean, they don't get to play together all that much, and Rob, when things don't go well, there's no smiling going on. He's got a look on his face like death. It can't be as comfortable.
I mean, when you play with someone who's got a resume that long, there's definitely an obligation to show up and perform.
Amen to that.
But having said that, Nicky's pretty lucky to play with them as well. So
absolutely, and I have to say, I'm no expert, but I've watched that whole tournament several times, and I mean, Nick really rose to the challenge there.
Oh yeah.
Some of those sets, those 6-5 sets, were, oh my God, so just.
I think he was.
Josh hamming it up a little bit.
Josh had him worried, I think. Really big physical presence up there at the galleries.
Oh yeah. Now, I know my commentating is filled with some of my personal reminiscences, but I had a shot like that playing against Jeremy Winterstein. Can't really remember what it was, some sort of a club event or something, and I was in Josh's position. It was a hazard chase, and he plugged one right at me, and I ducked and held the racket up, and it went right into that forehand corner on the hazard side, and he looked at me with this look on his face. He just said, "That was not supposed to happen." Like, well, once in a while, even a monkey can type Shakespeare,
Where is Jeremy? I wonder.
I don't know. I heard he might show up on the mic at some point.
Well, we'd be very lucky if that happened. A very good player, but he could definitely talk a little bit too.
See if he can get over his stage fright.
People call him a raconteur, perhaps.
Yes.
So,
where are we here? We have been playing this match a long time, and it's still only 1-love, 30-all in this game. I believe we're in for some long rests.
That's a good boast from Tim to get out of trouble. Great shot, John.
It is Boast City out there. See, now there's a perfect example of a time when I think, Tim stepped out of the way thinking Cam was behind him there. Cam was going to, Spider-Man into that grill corner and hit one of his boasts against that grill wall, and maybe bury it in the last gallery to boot.
I think all good doubles pairs. There's a fair amount of delegation and knowing your role, and these guys will learn their way through it a little bit. I generally see, having seen Tim when he isn't playing with Cam, there'll come a stage in the match where he's going to be a little more emphatic about what he'd like to see Leon doing. Obviously, Leon's a top-notch volleyer, so he'll probably encourage him to go up. But a lot of times, in going up in doubles, you're really just trying to get the guy to change the angle so the guy in the back gets a better look at the ball.
Chase last gallery. 2 chases.
I didn't even notice. Were they switching? Is Tim playing the back on this side?
I don't know.
Let's have a look here.
Of course, watching Tim and Cam play, there's almost using the word positioning doesn't really describe what they do. It's a whirling dervish. They intuitively seem to know each other's strengths and weaknesses on each point, and sometimes they're in an I formation. Sometimes Tim is playing at the door on the forehand side, trying to cut that ball off.
Yeah, I think it's easy for people to watch those matches and think like, there's actually a lot of different ways to play doubles, but
not for humans.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you know a good dentist, you got to be careful how you act.
That's what we were looking for this morning. I mentioned in the first match, Barney, that if you ever have to leave tennis, I think comedy writing is your next stop.
Satire, I think, is more.
Oh, well, that's the best comedy, isn't it?
So we do see Tim playing the front here, which, oh look, now we're getting a little bit of, you go here, I'll go there. Look, there we go. Conducting traffic.
Yep.
We're getting a giraffe here. Tim, obviously, many successful years here as a pro, knows the court well. Not to say, I think since then you guys may have done the floor, and that may have changed things a bit, but
Yep.
3 games to love.
Tim will be, he tends to be pretty comfortable everywhere he goes, I guess, but.
Of course, Tim was here as a member when, during his foolish period of having left the game for a while as a pro. And
What was he like as a member?
Oh, as a member, I'll tell you exactly what he was like. He was a frustrated pro, is what he was. He'd be around for some of these events and see newer players and sort of duffers like me out there not really getting doubles positioning or like strategy or anything like that, and he came to me and Gary Moulter, who another great, very frustrated look on Tim's face there.
Yeah.
Another great TNR member, and he said, "Can you guys organize some 6:30 a.m. clinics for anyone that you want to invite, and we're going to do it twice a week, and I'm going to teach you all how to play doubles."
Wow.
He was that frustrated.
Wow, that's.
Now, keep in mind, at the time, he's got some sort of job in finance or insurance or recruiting or something. He's got 3 kids at home. He's got a long-suffering wife, Darcy. He's living out in Walpole. It's not exactly next door. And he's here at 6:30 in the morning teaching us how to play doubles. I felt like so privileged to do it, and after a while, a couple people, who were there often wouldn't show up, and then it was just me and Gary for months with him, 6:30 in the morning, twice a week, and you wouldn't really know it, but oh my God, it was such a privilege because
Oh, wow.
in the end, we would play Canadian against him. He would play left-handed. And I think, I might be making this up, I think we beat him once. But I think that might be made up. You know, I mean, the only weakness he had was a high backhand volley. Of course, that makes you feel very strange with the offhand.
4 games to love here. Tuxedo's got to pull it together because this match is spiraling a little bit. You know, one thing we're seeing a lot of this new day and age is as Mike Goodings just walked by, and we'll see what he has to say about it. But all these, you know, between the 4 of these guys, 3 of them like 2 hands on their backhand volley, which I think is relatively new. I don't remember a ton of people doing it when I was growing up, but John, Josh, Leon, all of them, 2 hands on the backhand volley. Well,
do you think that has something to do with starting in lawn tennis or starting racket sports as a youngster when you really have to do the 2-handed backhand?
I think it might be a little bit of that. I think a few people pioneered it, the lefties, actually. So Camden was probably the first guy I saw using it a lot, but he was using it. He and Vergona, they do that baseball rip return to serve.
Yes, yes.
And those guys, I really feel like started it. And then after the baseball rip return to serve, they did the cut volley cross court. And then all of a sudden you started to see it in the rallies. And it's just kind of an interesting progression, you know. One of these things that I feel like has happened in my lifetime, and now it's just normal. But it's definitely interesting to see. While I have the opportunity to, I want to reach out and acknowledge the Preservation Foundation. The Preservation Foundation, in addition to supporting this event massively and really making sure that this is a success here right away, they were also very instrumental in helping professionals through months of lost income, and there's a very generous gift given to the professionals to help sustain their incomes throughout the pandemic, probably the largest gift in the history of court tennis to professionals. So keeping that in mind, I'd really like to thank Bill McLaughlin, Jane Lippincott, and Walter Dean, who really headed it on the foundation side. And additionally, I was talking about a few names the other day about very important people in the game, and one name that I didn't neglect but wanted to really speak about is Jane Lippincott is such an important figure, particularly in the United States, but pretty much every aspect of administration and communication at some stage passes through Jane, and she is critical. The game wouldn't function, and I think a lot of people don't really understand how important Jane is here. So here's to you, Jane, working so many hard years, and a lot of it thankless, but thank you for from all of us professionals, and you've done so much for us. Thank you.
Amen to that. Jane and I are both treasurers of our respective organizations. I'm treasurer of the association, and she is the treasurer of the foundation. We have some lovely phone calls sometimes. Of course, she's also does some contract work for the association, communications. You can say whatever you want about the USCTA, but that Chase the First, it has been out every single issue on the first of the month. Just an incredible effort there.
Best publication in the game for 10 years or something like that, or more. I don't even know.
Absolutely agree. From helpful pro tips, longer form stories, history, Haven Pell's tour of world courts, you name it, there's a little something for everybody, and that's part of your membership in the association. You get 12 issues of that every year. It's good to keep track of upcoming tournaments, tournament write-ups, pro events.
It's the source of everything in America.
Yep, that's it.
Speaking of everything, just looking at the chat here, we got Giles on the chat. Giles, great to hear from you. Sorry I missed you yesterday, but great to see a familiar face on the chat. Love to see more people chiming in. Well, this is again getting back to big themes in the tournament here. We've got the return of Tim Chisholm, and what does that look like? 2 knee surgeries, 2 years later. He can still definitely bring the heat, and he takes competition dead serious. So
he does. Looks like he's got to lower his sights a little bit. A few too many hard forces to the penthouse.
They got chased the line for that one, so I'll be happy to send Leon to the front and play it from the back.
That's right. I tell you, looks like Tuxedo better do something soon.
Yeah.
5-love Philadelphia.
Matt doesn't like him right now, for sure.
Absolutely not.
John and Josh have been very steady, though. We haven't seen many errors from either of these guys.
No.
Good shot, Leon.
Great shot, Leon.
Smooth.
That's a shot that it takes a while to get used to, as thinking like I can win a service chase by putting it in the hazard galleries. I think for so long, you're working on training yourself to hit everything over in that grill corner, and then on a chase you realize, oh, all I have to do is put it in those galleries. If I have the angle, I should take that shot, and I never see anybody at this level ever forget that. Oh, very nice high sidewall.
I think the trick in that shot is really just recognizing, understanding your ability and when it's the right time to hit it. Obviously, Leon Smart hits the ball in the middle of the strings every time, and he's a guy who can handle that, but I wouldn't say that I use it nearly as well. There you go, Tim. I wouldn't say I use it nearly as much as others, and you just got to understand your strengths and play to them as much as possible. Ted Ganeos on the chat. Hey, Ted. Hope you're playing today.
Yeah, hello to Ted.
Got a big handicap singles in New York going on right now. Ted moved through his group emphatically, just trouncing all comers.
Nice. Of course, I worked with Ted a lot on the auction and the dinner last couple of years. He did an amazing job putting together our COVID auction. Obviously, it's a lot of extra work to figure out how that all works, and I say better him than me.
Well, thank you both.
He's a great addition to the doers on the association non-payroll.
That non-payroll is a very important one.
Yes. All for the love of the game.
Speaking of donors, I was thinking of him the other night, but we're missing our friend Arthur Wickham, who, in addition to being just one of the great guys in the game, he and his wife have been massive patrons and got behind the national sponsorship program very early, Dinosaur Capital.
Yes.
And
in fact, some of that Dinosaur Capital contribution is supporting this very event.
So Arthur's still with us in many ways.
That's correct. I don't know, there are some real gentlemen in this game, but nobody more a gentleman than him in my experience. Just a lovely person. Always had a kind word.
Smile.
Smile, a disciplined game. He's not an anger player. Some people seem to derive a lot of energy from just being PO'd out there. He was just zen, I would say.
I think that's it. There's a lot to learn from people like that. You don't meet so many of them anymore.
That is correct.
Temple Grassi, not shocked you're on the stream, but really happy to see you.
Amen to that.
Temple, another massive supporter, and I'm sure, this court looks as nice as it does today, in part because of you, and these players are playing as hard as they are, in part because of you too. Shep Skiff, hey Shep. Shep working his way up to this level one day, we hope. Another great member in New York, Racket Club of Philadelphia. I think that
Barney is actually good at this commentary thing.
that's got to be Rob. It's hard to give a compliment sometimes for some people, but I like your backhand too, Rob. Rob's just come off a knee surgery as well, so best of luck to him. Said he's going to hit the tour again, so.
I would love to see Robbie Whitehouse out at some tournaments. He comes from the Jimmy Dunn, Jimmy Burke retriever school, always out there working the floor, scurrying around.
When you say school, it actually was a school in Philadelphia that all those guys came out of.
That's right. What was the school again?
It's called Roman Catholic High School. It's just a few blocks north of City Hall, but coincidentally, most of those pros came out of a neighborhood called East Falls, which...
Tell us something about that neighborhood, because I have heard about East Falls, but don't really know exactly what it's like. Do you have some experience, Bernie?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great working class neighborhood, but it's for a relatively small area. It borders a relatively large housing project and quite a sort of affluent beginning of a suburb on the other side. So there's a bit of everything, and I think character-wise, the guys that came out of there really represent such a, to me, interesting and awesome part of this game. I don't think they necessarily grow up with the typical court tennis upbringing, and the fact that so many of them become successful professionals in the game. So we're talking about John Cashman, we're talking about Jimmy Burke, we're talking about Rob Whitehouse, Ed Knoll, Mike Knoll, Mark Likarobic.
So the Knowles were East Falls guys too?
All through the Roman Catholic program. So, I mean, honestly, one high school in America winds up producing, 80% of the talent for the longest time. It's kind of amazing. But anyway, the tradition and the far reach of those professionals is, I mean, you could argue that, when you say these names, there isn't another group that's influenced the game as much as them. Their tenures as professionals in their respective clubs, and just very, just a neat story. And all those guys are obviously friends, and thinking of you. I don't see any of you here today, but hopefully that changes next year. Rob, get back on that PT.
Oh, too bad. That was a good opportunity for Tuxedo. They were up 40-30. Tough chase, but loose ball. Oh, here we go.
So good.
God, the hands on these guys just...
Nice ball, Leon.
Hey, second gallery.
The exchanges are getting a bit better here. I think you're starting to see the receivers get a little more confident, and that's a great sign. I think
signs of life.
The Tuxedo team I think, are the only team that. Oh, wow! Look at that serve. That's somewhere between skill and luck. I don't know what they call it.
Scuck.
Scuck, yeah. There's a lot of scuck in that serve.
Oh, gosh.
Charles on the stream from Paris. Hey, Charles, miss you.
I like that service return there. Leon ran away from it, and Tim just stared at it.
Second gallery.
Oh, God.
Lisa Cato. Hey, Lisa. Hope all's well.
Yep. Second gallery. Leon better get himself over that last gallery. There he goes.
Just going down the line. No.
Oh, that's a funky one.
Wow.
Whoa. What kind of whack frame shot was that?
When we said skill and luck, that was more on the luck side, I think.
I'd say so. Come on, Tuxedo.
You wouldn't say they're down and out, but what we'd like to see here is Tim to just get really angry.
Yes.
Chase first gallery.
Because he can really change the complexion of a match quickly if he starts.
There's not a lot of smiling going on. Let's see what he's got.
Josh bends that volley really nicely. Definitely a big attribute for him. Great get, Leon.
Yep.
Dive.
Chase better than
It's a little
second
early in the
gallery.
week for a dive. Do you air it out at all ever?
Do I what?
Do you air it out? Do you like a good dive?
Let's just say, if I dove, that would be my one dive of the day.
Yeah, first and last. Same.
Maybe the last dive of my life. You never know.
It's amazing. You see guys that really live and die by the dive, and
Servers, Chase first
I mean,
gallery.
One of our sponsors, Eric Silverman, East Ham Capital, loves the dive. He's a serious diver. I'd play doubles with him in the morning sometimes, and he'd be on the floor at least half a dozen times.
I'd like, I think he and I need to meet, because anyone that's confident enough to really, commit to a good dive out here on the cement.
Yeah, this is.
I want to meet that guy. Ooh, careful. See, that's the one that will really,
30 all.
if you're Josh, that inside out smash down the line makes people uncomfortable. He's done well on that one. There's two-handed volley.
Match ball.
Lumley very clean today. Hair looking good again.
Chase worse than 3.
Quite a good shot here. That low main wall back wall neck.
Yes.
It's really severe and
Stays down.
stays down. I think you see a lot of guys either leave it or wind up trying to chip it, go up back on the roof on the other side. So you get a lot of utility out of it on the return to serve and from the receiving end there. All right, come on, Tuxedo. Let's get it together here.
Worse than 3.
Ken and I want to stay together a bit longer.
That is correct.
Oh dear.
That is game, set, and the match.
Tim's face just said it all right there. Well done.
So,
Well, maybe we can keep this going. Can you stay for any of the
yeah,
next match?
let's.
Stay for a
Yeah,
set, maybe.
I'm gonna stay for the beginning of the next one. I've got a call with the children soon. So
Excellent. Okay, well, until then, this has been Ken Fortin, your commentator, with special guest Barney Tanfield from New York. Coming up next is Tim Chisholm versus John Lumley. It'll be very interesting to see Tim in the knees against the youngster. Until then, enjoy your morning.